Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. This is Recording Rissa featuring me, Rissa. So thank you so much. Before I get started, if you have the time and if you like this video, please like it. Leave a comment if you had any thoughts about anything I said. And if you like any of my other videos and you like most of my content in general, or you want to see more of my content, please hit the subscribe button down below. All right, now we're gonna jump on into my review of Nosferatu. All right, so for this review, I've got my handy dandy notebook because I really want to make sure that, and there are some spoilers in here, so just watch out for that if you're not, trying to see anything that you wouldn't already have seen in the commercials, okay? Because I'm just gonna get into it. All right, so the first thing about Nosferatu that I really like is the cinematography. I'll just say it gives a very classic horror movie. The shots of his creepy hand just creeping up the wall, and a lot of slow panning out shots over the town that gets darker. A lot of cliffside shots. Definitely reminds me of an old Alfred Hitchcock type of movie, and I think that's a really good thing to try to bring back to the modern horror genre. Okay, on top of that, with the cinematography, I'd say my partner pointed out to me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's so true. They made an effort, a very concerted effort to make every shot appear in a grayscale. So using blue tones and very muted colors, and on the grayscale, the dark the dark blacks and the dark grays. And even within the dark colors, there is still a scale to it, and then using the navy blues to kind of contrast that and create more shadows. I thought that was really cool because in that way I didn't notice it was black and white almost, but then now that I look back, I'm like, oh, that's how they created that weird, almost surrealist kind of look. I don't know how to explain it. When you watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about, but it is definitely a very cool way to try to bring back that old horror genre that people really miss. I miss anyways, because I'm a big horror fan, and I don't know, I like all kinds of horror movies, the corny ones and the really scary ones as well. So yeah, I just think filming wise, the vision, the aesthetic is perfect for Nosferatu. The costume design, also amazing. So now I'm just going to talk about the Nosferatu and the characters a little bit more. Just because the characters, I think, weren't exactly what I was expecting, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. All right, so the biggest thing that I noticed is that Nicholas Hoult is not Nosferatu, and he's not some kind of scheming villain. I saw on Twitter a bunch of people talking about how he'd be perfect for Nosferatu because his role in Skins, he was literally Machiavellian. And just in other roles, he's been perfect, in Warm Bodies. He's definitely great for a horror movie genre. But in this movie, he plays a really doting, loving, dedicated and devoted husband, and he really is just stepping outside of that typical typecast, and he did a really good job. He came across as very earnest, and I really appreciated the effort that actors, especially him, who he's already established, but whenever an actor goes out of their way to prove that they can do something than what they're usually typecast as, I really appreciate it, because it's okay, you have range, you're not just one type of person or one type of actor, if that makes sense. You're not one-dimensional. The other thing I noticed was Nosferatu is not much of a predator in this one. I think that Nosferatu was not as much of a predator as I thought he was going to be portrayed as, only because towards the end of the movie, and maybe I guess post-climax, it's more revealed that his love interest, the main character, what's her name, Lily Rose's Depp character, she had been calling to him and summoning him since she was young, and there were parts where she was I was just a little girl, where I'm okay, maybe he was a predator, but then after talking about it with my partner, it seems like she definitely was into him at some point, and then their relationship became non-consensual, and thus his like now becoming a predator. In my opinion, I always just thought that Nosferatu was just a super creep that nobody would ever want to touch with a 10-foot pole, and never had wanted to touch with a 10-foot pole. So that's just the difference in that I saw in like how creepy he was portrayed. But when it comes to just like straight like ickiness and grossness, everything about the costume design definitely got that across. I personally wouldn't touch Nosferatu with a 10-foot pole, and you could not convince me to make that trek out to his dingy castle in Romania. So I don't know, I just think they did a really good job at making him seem super unappealing. There's so many mice in this movie, and like that's the other thing. He's so strongly associated with dirtiness, like yuckiness, filth, that again, I think even subconsciously, without the grotesque like makeup, they've done a really good job at making sure that Nosferatu is someone that you do not want to root for. You cannot root for. Even if you're the type of person to root for the villain, you're not going to root for him. He's such a creep. So that was really well done. And I think, you know, again, Lily Rose Depp, she was phenomenal. I haven't seen much of her work, but I think she was really committed. There are parts where it was almost comical, but like in a good way, where her body, she definitely fully committed to like the motion of being possessed, and like what that would look like, and what that kind of contortion would look like on your body. And then just like as you are going through this, how your gait gets more and more worn down, and like your energy and how you carry yourself is more depleted, you know. Towards the end of the movie, you could physically see how little like willpower she had, and she had to like muster all of it up. And so I thought, you know, I think all the actors brought their A game. They knew that people were going to watch this movie, and they were like, we have to bring our A game. And so that's what I'll say about the acting. And the last little bit I'll speak on is just the horror aspect in general. All right, this is the last thing I'll talk about. And then it's up to you if you agree with me and if you want to see the movie, or if you think I'm super off base and I know nothing about horror movies, which I can tell you I do know a little something about horror movies, because I like to be scared. Not in real life, just in, you know, in real life I don't get scared. Just kidding, I do. But okay, so let's get into the horror aspect. What makes this movie so scary? I'll be honest, I wasn't that scared, but I'll say there are a lot of really good jump scares, and it's just really gross. Like, I'll say it's like a very gory film where heads are being ripped off, people are biting, there's a lot of blood gushing. But I will also say it's not gratuitous. It's not like, you know, I can't think of his name right now, but it's not like certain films where like the director just is like spraying everybody with blood everywhere, you know. It's definitely well intentioned, and I loved like the camera shots were made to not really look like the blood spurting onto you, but just to give you the best visual of how the blood would come out of that person or whatever thing, you know, they're eating mice. I'm telling you, this is a gross movie. And so yeah, the other person I wanted to talk about in the previous section that I totally forgot, but this guy is really who makes the movie scary. Is not actually Nosferatu himself, but his familiar slash his, you know, servant, I guess. That dude is freaky. The way he transforms from, even in the beginning, he's giving a very suspicious, like when he's still put together, he's a very suspicious like businessman. And, you know, he's getting the main character, Nicholas Holt's character, to go on this business trip, but he's giving very shady. And just to see his decline into an absolute trash rat is, one, apropos, but two, like, very scary to watch, you know? And, like, scary to see, like, everybody in town just being like, what's going on with this dude? How is he? We're all looking for him. And he's really just, like, up what's his name, Nosferatu's butt. Like, it is just so crazy how into Nosferatu, to the point where Nosferatu has to slap sense into him. Like, all right, sorry about that, guys. My phone died for a second. But yeah, Nosferatu has to slap him and be like, hey, can you stop being all on my meat for like 2 seconds and just stop ingratiating yourself and just wanting me so badly, you know, and wanting my energy so bad. So that guy really is a freak, and that's really one of the scariest parts of this movie, is just seeing how weird people can be, especially someone that's like, you know, he was seen as like an upstanding businessman in this community. And he ended up being the most despicable person in the neighborhood. And probably in the movie, you know, like Nosferatu is bad, but this dude literally is a regular human and like turns into like some kind of like pseudo vampire. And I don't know, was it worth it? I don't think so. I don't understand how he got caught up in Nosferatu's shadow to begin with. They didn't really explain that. But he was scary. The other thing that was really scary was just the number of mice. Me personally, or rats, I don't like rats. So they were like everywhere. People were eating into rats. It was disgusting. I'll say like the jump scares where the camera's panning, that was really good too. They had very good like camera panning, so you could, you know, feel the tension build, and like as the camera's panning, your eyes are scanning the screen to see like where's the jump scare gonna come from, you know. So I think those are all the things that make a good horror movie. And if you have all those elements, you know, like the jump scare, the creepy characters, and a good, you know, storyline that also scares people in real life, you know, you don't want to go out, take a risk on something that you think you're doing like a good thing for your family, and it ends up being the worst mistake of your life. Or you have like a premonition and you're like, I'm just being paranoid, and it really isn't just paranoia. So everyone's kind of afraid of being in those circumstances, and I love when horror movies play on things that we're all genuinely afraid of, and then has actual elements of spookiness, you know. So I think yeah, it should be worth your watch. I don't know, I enjoyed it personally. I definitely, like I said, I'm not a very long movie person. It's not too long of a movie, it's only 2 hours. But if that's not too long for you, I'd say go ahead and check it out. I haven't seen a better movie in the past 2 years for that time length. It's not like, you know, Oppenheimer or anything like that. It's not super long or any drawn out, wicked long, you know. It's definitely watchable, enjoyable, and you'll walk away like, whoa, that was a lot. So yeah. I'd highly recommend going to see it. Sorry, y'all, it's late and I'm tired. I'd highly recommend going to see it, but I also say if you aren't really into super scary movies and you want to kind of get into like a good horror movie and start getting into scary movies, this is not gonna like, you know, scare the pants off you if you're an adult, and you'll be able to sleep at night, but you'll also start to appreciate horror movies and not think of them as like goofy, corny, like tropey movies. This was really well done. Anyways, if you like this review or you like any of the other videos on my channel, please subscribe, please like. I love making these videos. They're for my friends and anybody who wants to watch, and I appreciate every single viewer, like, from the bottom of my heart. Like, I don't know, this is just a great hobby, and I really enjoy just chatting with y'all. So thank you so much for watching. Yes, if you can, like and subscribe. If not, thanks again for the view. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.